Well, today we get into chapter 8. And for some reason, when we start the course, this is where everybody wants to start at. What about investments? Where am I going to put my money? So let's talk about that. And let me just say this things have changed over the last couple of decades. Now, however, at the same time, our investing strategies have not changed. What I mean is, uh, we're going to recommend that you invest monthly. You're not going to worry about the stock market going up and down. You're not going to worry about that. If you buy 1 month, it may go low. Next month, it's up higher. But anyway, so that's kind of where we're going to go. But let's just get into the chapter. Let's talk about this. Um, I love the chart on page 40. We've talked about that numerous times. The key is to start early. And since you're still in high school, boy, what better time to start? Now, I know technically when we started the class, we said right now we have three main goals, right? $500 in an emergency fund, get out of college with no debt, and have a car that's paid for. So you're out of college, car's paid for, you have $500 in your emergency fund, and you're ready to get a job and then take off, all right? And maybe you start investing monthly then, and that's fine. That's not a bad plan. Don't misunderstand me. However, and we'll get into it in the chapter some. There might be a way that you could start now. Can you imagine, rather than waiting until you're 22 to start when you're 16 or 17 or 18? That's pretty good. So let's go with that. So here we are, chapter 8, and you can look at the first couple of pages. I'm going to be on page 164. Want to think about your future. Let's think about it now and not later. And the reason I bring that up, I just want to talk about the recent pandemic for a moment. And I think most of you realize now that if you're older, or you have high blood pressure, or if you're obese, or you have some underlying medical conditions, uh, this virus does not treat you very well. So the way to think about your future, even from a health standpoint, is don't try not to go there. Eat well, exercise, drink a lot of water, and just take care of yourself. So if you ever did get it, uh, it won't tear you up so much and it'll be much easier. But listen, it's too late to prepare. If you're, say, 60 years old and you have high blood pressure and you get it, it's too late to go to work on your blood pressure. You don't have time. Well, the same thing financially. If you wait until you're 50, 55, and I talk to people and they haven't started, well, it's now, at 50, yeah, you can still get in the game. But if you're 65, and I've coached people 65, no money in the bank, no retirement, nothing, nothing. That's a little late to get started. All right. So we want you to think about your future now, and we want you to have a great future from a financial aspect. And what we're going to talk about today, I think, will help you even despite what's going on in the economy. I think all these principles will serve you well. So let's just get right into it on page 164. And one of the things we want to get to is get to a place where our money makes more money in a year's time than we make. Now, I know that's going to take a while. You might be 55 or 60, but think about that. If your money is making more than you are, when it comes time maybe to retire, if you're 65, 70, you want to step away from the workplace, your money's making more than your income, and you'll never even have to touch your nest egg because it's making more money than you're making now. All right, so let's just keep some of those principles in mind. Now, first thing I want to do, page 164, is keep it simple, stupid. Listen, we're not going to get complicated. That's for the pros, if you will. I mean, we're not going to do that. Um, and if we were in class, I would ask you to stop me if I was unclear, and I'll try to be as clear as I can. On page 165, never invest purely for tax savings. Boy, you know, people make decisions sometimes just because they save on taxes. And I don't want to dig into the details here too much, but don't get suckered into a deal because you're going to save on your taxes. It's kind of like you see something on sale and it's 30% off. Well, you don't need it, but you go spend the money anyway. Okay, well, I mean, how did that help you? So you don't want to invest in something just for tax savings. All right, if it's a primarily for a tax deal, it's probably not a good investment. All right. Now, and you never want to invest borrowed money. I'm talking recently to a woman and she wants to borrow money to invest. And I told her I'm not going to encourage her to do that. And I don't think she liked my advice. What are you going to do? Um, uh, Prior to the Great Depression back in the 1920s, uh, people were borrowing money to invest. And let me just say this: if all people are just borrowing money and putting it into the stock market, the supply and demand and all that, people are there with the money, ready to pay cash, prices go up. So the stock market went up. Well, then when the stock market crashed, those people, the stock prices went down. They tried to cash out and they were upside down and they had borrowed more than their stock was worth. So don't do that. All right. We're not going to borrow money to invest.